Ladies and gentlemen, it really amazes me that we like to blame the Zionists for a lot of the problem that's going on in the United States. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. On the day of judgment, the devil is going to go ahead and turn around and say, God, I did not make them do whatever it is that they did. I simply invited them and they accepted. And this is a really good argument because those of you out there who have did crime, if you're a religious person, you have committed major sins. Did the devil put a gun to your head and said, do this or else? No, he did not. Same thing applies to the United States government, the politician, the Congress, and all of these people. Although the Zionists do have a goal in mind, they have a goal, which is they want to establish the state of Israel. In order for that to happen, they need support. They need people to work on their behalf because they're a very tiny group of people, 15 million to be more specific. And in order for that to happen, you guessed it, the cult that controls Trump, the US foreign policy. Let's go ahead and listen to Nadia while she explains to us what's really going on. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and let's get it.
Or professional way to start this video, but there isn't one. So let's dive right in, straight from the horse's mouth.
Nation shall rise up against nation. And as we see these things increase in intensity and frequency,
FYI, sorry for pausing this so early. I went ahead and give you guys the name. I'm not going to go ahead and react to this whole entire video. You know, I'm still a small channel, and so I need people's attention to be expanding and stuff like that. But I will react to about half of it or maybe a little bit less than that and give my thought on it. And yeah, just want to give you a heads up. So if you want to go ahead and go to her channel right away and just start like listening to the whole thing without having to listen to my response, that's completely fine. Before you leave, just don't forget to leave a like and sub.
we can know that the Lord is going to return.
We don't want peace, we being evangelicals. We want Armageddon. Bring it on.
That's Robert Jeffress, a Christian Zionist, televangelist, and the senior pastor in the First Baptist megachurch in Dallas, Texas. Oh yeah, and he's Trump's spiritual advisor.
Right.
So this guy's in Trump's ear. Let that sink in.
So think about this, right? The devil works in a way where he wants as much corruption on earth as possible. So in conclusion, the fact that this man right here who claims to be a Christian and is literally next to the ear of Trump, so you already know that he gives Trump religious advice. Think about it this way. It's like the devil masquerading as a religious person and talking to a powerful leader to go ahead and bring about the end of the world. In the name of Christianity, of course.
Spiritual advisor. So this guy's in Trump's ear. Let that sink in. I'm just going to come right out and say it. This is bat crazy. It's religious extremism, and in my opinion, evangelicalism is a cult. Now, before you come at me in the comments for not being respectful to a religion, let me clarify. Religion is about deference to God. Cultism is about deference to the leader.
And let me go ahead and also say that it does not apply to all Christians. There are some really good Christians out there, don't get me wrong. There are some Christians out there who have no idea what the leaders are doing. There are some Christians out there who have no idea that their pastor is taking money under the table to guide them in a certain direction. So I'm not talking about all Christians. I'm gonna go ahead and just put that out there.
I have no respect for cults. And I have even less respect for anti-American Zionist cult leaders that use God to dupe good but gullible people into supporting Israel's genocide. As a Catholic, I can publicly say that pederast priests should be thrown out and prosecuted, and that the church's credibility won't improve until they are. I can criticize the Pope for not doing anything about this. I can even campaign with other Catholics for it. None of this would get me excommunicated because Catholicism is a religion. It doesn't quash dissent, but try that in a Christian Zionist evangelical church and see what happens. I use images from a documentary titled Praying for Armageddon, produced by Al Jazeera, that you absolutely must watch.
I'm probably gonna go ahead and do that. If some of you guys watch this video and this video somehow takes off and you guys are very interested in and hearing my opinion on that, let me know. Maybe I'll go ahead and, react to that. And yeah.
I've linked both episodes below. And before you discredit the film because you don't like the producer, I'll remind you that the truth is the truth no matter who says it. Water isn't any less wet just because I don't know, George Soros says it is. Evangelists might not match with the cult trope of desert bunkers and groups that operate in the shadows until they make the news when something really tragic happens. But it does fulfill the 5 markers used to identify all cults, and I'll show you how one by one. Now, televangelists are notorious for their theatrics, corruption, and mega wealth. John Hagee reportedly has a net worth of about $5 million. Jeffress is around the same, peddling.
In their own word, Jesus is the one that blessed them with all that money, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Jesus. That's who gave him all that money. That makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this right off the bat. There are some poor Christians out there who are far more religious than these pastors. And yet they are dirt poor. So what differentiates these guys from those Christians? You want to know what it is? They are staunch supporters of Zionism. Zionism cannot survive without the religious followers, without the religious people, without Christianity. They will not survive. So of course, the speakers, the pastors are going to go ahead and be paid handsomely because they're making sure that you, the evangelical Christians, stay in line and continue dumping your money in the pockets of Zionism and continue being a mouthpiece of Zionism while they go ahead and completely decimate Palestinians.
John Hagee reportedly has a net worth of about $5 million. Jeffress is around the same. Peddling salvation is a good gig, if you can get it. Maybe they are true believers, or maybe they're just cashing in. And if you want to follow them, have at it. Honestly, I couldn't care less what people do in their private lives. You want your mind controlled by lunatics? Go ahead. You want to make them rich? Be my guest. Just stay in your lane. Because when you cross into mine and use your money and leverage to influence my government to create policies that harm me and my country, then we have a problem. The amount of influence, money, and power that evangelical organizations like Christians United for Israel wield in DC is alarming. First, because of their insane objectives. These people want to facilitate the death and destruction of Armageddon. They look forward to a final cataclysmic end to the world because they believe they'll be raptured up to heaven and spared from the suffering that they've caused. Because according to them, that's God's will.
The end of time. When is that? That's right now. The next thing that's about to happen is the return of the Lord Jesus Christ. Everything that's necessary for this new world order is at the door. You are a soldier of the cross. We are conquerors in Jesus' name. The victory is ours. Advance and conquer.
Father, I just ask that we will be more militant about serving you. We will be more militant, Father, about saying yes to the things that's yes and no to the things that is no.
This is their stated goal, but it's...
Let me go ahead and ask you guys a question, okay? Although we understand one thing in this world is that every single human being that is walking alive today is going to die. We know that for a fact. Now, I'm going to bring it down and say you specifically, you know you're going to die. That's a fact. That is proven. So if God has said that this is going to happen, why are you working to make sure it happens? Probably in your lifetime. You are working hard to make that happen. So what I'm trying to say is that although you know you're going to die, do you go out there and try to look for the best poison to take yourself out? Do you go out there to try to find the most, something that is less lethal to take? You don't do that. You try to avoid death at all costs. Why? Because you want to try to avoid it for as long as you possibly can. Now, does that mean that you will live long enough to see the next day? You're not guaranteed it, but at least you try to avoid it. These evangelical leaders, these people are demonic is what I'm trying to say. Although God has predicted that this is going to happen in the future, why are you trying to make it happen as quickly as possible? Seriously, do they not understand that if Armageddon was to happen, we are talking about millions, perhaps billions of innocent people are going to be caught up in the crossfire? They do realize that, right? Seriously, think about that for a second, ladies and gentlemen. This is the level of lunatic. This is the level of, cultists and sociopathic. I don't even know what name to call it. This is the level of derangement that we are dealing with. And again, this is not all Christians. I'm going to be very, very specific. It's not all Christian.
It's not the goal of normal, healthy Americans who want peace, who want their families to prosper, who want to be safe to enjoy their freedoms. People who don't believe that the death of millions is a prerequisite for their own salvation. This is the first problem. The second is that this cult has the money and influence to leverage this administration to do its bidding. That means that the people in control of the US today are kowtowing to groups whose aims are in direct opposition to American interests. They can make it happen. Kowtowing to groups whose...
I just want to see something real quick. Okay, so he looks like one of them boys, right? Why is he having his head on here? See, the special people in the Middle East don't even believe in Jesus. They believe that Jesus he's burning in human feces in the hellfire. But yet we have Judeo-Christian, ladies and gentlemen. Yet we have Judeo-Christians. You want to know why? It's simply because they know that they cannot survive without the Christians. So they need to attach themselves to you. They need to, I guess you can say, leash themselves onto you in order to suck up as much support from you as possible whilst they are doing the most heinous crime in the Middle East.
Aims are in direct opposition to American interests. They can make it happen. And have. I'll show you. The third issue is that the tax exemptions that these groups enjoy restrict them to, quote, religious, educational, or charitable activities only. But Zionism is a political movement, not a religious one.
Yes.
So when they lobby for the Zionist agenda, they're politically lobbying for a foreign entity. Just like AIPAC, this violates their Internal Revenue Code. And again, just like AIPAC, they're allowed to, without registering with FARA. Why? Ironically, Israel registered with FARA on September 27th to target American evangelicals. So if you're an evangelical, you're being exposed to copious amounts of propaganda. Another problem is the belief that America was built on Judeo-Christian values. Judeo-Christian is a term that was made up in 1820s America to describe Jews that converted to Christianity. That's it. America was founded on Christian values. But in 1700s America, Christianity looked like this. And now it looks like this.
You forgot to like put the Israeli flag all over the place, by the way. Yeah, some of these churches, they literally got Israeli flag flying everywhere. But they're praying in the name of Jesus, supporting people who saying that Jesus is burning in hellfire. Oh man. Like, what kind of level of, you know what? Let's keep going, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep going.
Get it? The false dichotomy that you're either pro-Zionist or pro-Islamist is a logical fallacy. Being pro-American has nothing to do with any other country but your own. So stop falling for this nonsense because it's silly. Like I said, there are many evangelical organizations operating under the same agenda. But since CUFI is the largest, I'll use it as an example to show you how it checks off every major cult indicator and the power it wields in Washington, so that you can answer the question for yourself. Are evangelicals a dangerous cult with disturbing influence over the US government?
Yes.
Whether you're religious or not.
Yes. It's not just the people in the Middle East. The only reason those people are still in power is because of the evangelicals. I mean, the results speak for itself.
If you're an American, this concerns you. We are a nation of laws. The separation of church and state is paramount to maintaining these laws for the benefit of our own citizens and for applying them justly to all. There's good reason why we aren't a theocracy. So when any religious organization has a main line into the White House, you have the right to know what's going on behind their pulpits, tax exemptions, and glossy PR stunts. Let's get into it.
She hadn't done the intro yet? It's been 7 minutes.
Sociologists and psychologists have a checklist of 5 recurring tactics used in all cults to recruit, control, and extract value from people for a specific agenda. So let's go down the list and see how CUFI fits the bill. Number 1, charismatic and centralized leadership. A central figure with near absolute authority who dominates doctrine and decision-making. This authority figure is revered, supported, and never questioned. John Hagee is the founder and public face of CUFI, as well as John Hagee Ministries, the outreach arm of the Hagee Empire, and run by Hagee and his son, Matt Hagee. His daughter, Sandra Hagee Parker, is the chairwoman of CUFI's Action Fund. His wife, Diana Castro Hagee, is the chief of staff of John Hagee Ministries and the co-executive director of CUFI. And the rest of the leadership is centralized, with Hagee and his associated family in the most senior roles. That concentration of power, a founder and his family in control, is a classic red flag. Who signs grants? Who appoints executives? Who the hell knows? Number 2, social environment and information control. The group controls members' sources of information and its social environment. Their books are the only books that are relevant. Their interpretations are the only ones that are correct. There is no discussion or debate about anything. You either agree with everything they say without question, or you're labeled an enemy. When lobbying for the CHI Act, Countering Hate Against Israel by Federal Contractors Act, yeah, that's a real thing. Sandra Hagee Parker claimed, quote, "No government contracts for Israel haters." So let me get this straight. If you're an American who prefers a free market where the government can't compel you to do business, then you're an Israel hater. And if you're an Israel hater, well, then you're not an evangelical. And if you're not an evangelical, then how will you be saved?
See, ladies and gentlemen, for the past few months, I have been studying the history of the state of Israel. And me as a Muslim, I don't even like our scholars that speak good of the state of Israel. I don't like them. I don't. To me, they look like a wolf in sheep's clothing. In front of us, they pretend that, oh, we understand the Quran. Oh, we have memorized the Quran. Oh, look at me recite this beautiful Quran. Meanwhile, they turn around and say, the state of Israel was promised to the Jews. Don't question what they do, ladies and gentlemen. They just got done dropping a 2,000-pound bomb on a bunch of innocent people. Don't question it. You see what I mean? This is coming from a Muslim. And I'm going to tell you this. I don't like those scholars who say stuff like that. Scholars who are in support of what's going on in the Middle East, I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't trust them. And I don't listen to them. Christians, what have you done to put your leaders in a position in which they are working for you rather than the state of Israel? Again, results speak for itself. Absolutely nothing. You want to go ahead and blame people in Congress. You want to go ahead and blame Donald Trump for, his bad policies and his lies and stuff like that. Recently, the Epstein file just got released. Not all of it, but the emails just got released. And we understand that Trump and all these people, they are in bed with each other. They're in bed with each other. All these people have been compromised. All of them. Now, one person that has not yet came up yet, according to my knowledge, is obviously our real president, which is Benjamin Netanyahu. Who knows? Maybe he's the one that has been collecting dirt on all these leaders. But my whole entire point is that you, the American people, you are blaming everybody and anybody except for yourself. You haven't done nothing to put your pastors in position. You haven't done nothing to stop your pastors from taking money from foreign government to go ahead and promote a foreign ideology, to brainwash you so that way you can continue sending money to go and annihilate a bunch of innocent people to bring about the Antichrist, let's be honest, okay? To bring about the Antichrist and then to bring about the upcoming of Jesus. All of this is going to be the result of annihilating billions of human beings on the planet. This is the result of the brainwashing that we have been going through for so long. The whole entire mask is lifting. We are starting to see through the cracks that was forming throughout the years. We're starting to see things like the email. We're starting to see that these governments have been compromised. We're starting to see that our tax money, our hard-earned money that we work so hard for so we can take care of our family, is being sent to go drop bombs on innocent people. We see all of these things, but yet we are still persistent on trying to blame everybody. The white are the problem, the blacks are the problem, the Mexicans are the problem, the Muslims are the problem, these are the problem, these are the problem. And yet we are literally turning a blind eye to who the real perpetrator of the disaster that has been happening in America is. I wanted to go ahead and just stop it right there. Again, if you want to watch the whole entire video and you made it this far, don't forget to leave a subscribe, just like I did. I like her videos, I just haven't subscribed yet. But this is her page. You can go watch the rest of the video for yourself. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. Catch y'all up later.